So let's get into the evolution of hip hop podcasts. How have podcasts like All the Smoke, Gil's Arena, and Vlad TV influenced the dissemination of hip hop culture and its narratives?
I just believe a lot of those guys were not only like, a fan of the culture when it comes to hip hop. A lot of those guys are hip hop. Like they are part of the culture. Hip hop is hard to, you know how they say every athlete want to be a rapper, or every rapper want to be an athlete, and vice versa with the entertainers. But I don't see them being any different. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the things that the hip hop or the culture is talking about, athletes see that every day. They come from the same neighborhood. They were inspired by some of the similarities in how they grew up and how they was raised, right? So they was inspired by that a lot. I'm just saying a lot of them was inspired by that get out of the mud mentality, right? I'm from this culture. I want to make it out this culture, and I'm willing to do things, whether it's hard work, be disciplined, be dedicated to make it out this culture. So when I see those guys transition from being an entertainer from their respective sports into the podcasting field and talking about that culture, I don't see it as a slight anyway. I'm not the guy that look at it like, well, because they play basketball, they shouldn't be talking about hip hop, or vice versa. When I see people like It Is What It Is, Cameron and Mace, I don't look at those guys to be like, all right, since they entertainers and we're rappers, they shouldn't be talking about sports. You know what I'm saying? I just like the evolution of it. You know what I mean? I think those guys have audiences, and I think those guys, do a great job in their own perspective to talk about the things that, we may feel that entertain us, and they talk about it in their own unique way. I don't think they're being, somebody that they not. You know what I mean? I think Cam and Mace, that's who they are. I think there's some guys that gonna laugh. I laugh thinking about them. You know what I mean? I think they're gonna laugh, they're gonna joke, but that don't make them, any less of a man or anything like that, or that don't make them any less knowledgeable about what they're talking about, right? And at the end of the day, it's their opinions. So they're entitled to their own opinion. I'm entitled to whether I want to hear it, whether I want to listen to it, or whether I listen to it and don't comment on it just to hear what people are saying about my podcast or my platform and how I want to get better from it. So I enjoy those. I'm a fan of those podcasts, right?